Okay.
Now, in your research too, by the way, people got to go back. We did 4 hours with St. John Hunt, 4 excellent hours. And I would encourage people to go back into the archives on Spreaker and on YouTube and look for those shows and listen to the progression of St. John Hunt. This is I'm really enjoying this conversation. What about there's that myth out there or a rumor that I believe is true that there exists a photo of George W. Bush standing on a bar, either naked or urinating? Did you come across that?
No, it wouldn't surprise me, but you know, they've done a lot to keep little leaks like that coming out. I mean, I'm sure they had something to do with Barry Seal's murder,
right?
You know, because you know, he was threatening to blow the lid on the Bush boys, their cocaine use, the whole Mina thing, Arkansas, and they took him out. They took my mother out. They took Marilyn Monroe out. You know, this is not just specific to one presidential candidate or one president. This is systematic in the whole entire, you know, our government in terms of what the presidents will do or what his inner circle will do or get involved in to stop someone from blowing. As my mother told me, she said when she landed in Chicago, she was going to have a press conference with Michelle Clark, who was a CBS News anchorwoman, to blow the White House out of the water. And of course, you know, the plane blown up in the air before it even landed, misguided to a vacant runway, and FBI was all over the place in 30 minutes, 40 FBI agents, which is unheard of. In those days, there was no cell phones or anything. I mean, these guys were all set up waiting for that plane to crash somewhere. And yeah, that's documented in my book Dorothy, which has all that information.
Yeah, very underreported aspect to the Watergate story is that St. John Hunt's mother was assassinated. There's pretty no doubt about it. And then Nixon actually appointed someone to change the head of the FAA who investigated the plane crashes, like days after. Am I correct?
The very next day was one of Nixon's most loyal troopers, Eagle Crow, who was also happened to be my father's boss in the plumbers. And he appointed him Undersecretary of Transportation, which oversaw the National Transportation and Safety Board's investigation into that crash. So he was not only relaying information about the investigation to Nixon, but also he was able to steer it and point it in directions that he felt necessary.
Yeah, no one ever talks about that, you know. And now, what about too? The movie just came out, The Post, about the whole thing with Daniel Ellsberg. Now, your father was the one who broke into his psychiatrist's office.
That's correct. He and his pal Gordon Liddy were their charge was the request from the White House was to do something about the leak of the Pentagon Papers by Ellsberg to the New York Times, which Nixon at first wasn't really bothered by, but Henry Kissinger convinced Nixon that it would show that he was weak if he didn't go after the scumbags that leaked the stories, which proved that Vietnam was an unwinnable war and flew in direct opposite of that time current spiel by the government and the military industrial complex that everything was going well. It was a winnable war. We just need 50,000 more troops and they'll be home by next year or whatever. And the study commissioned in the Defense Department showed that those were complete fabrications, a complete lie to the American people just to keep the Vietnam War going. So they charged my father, and they ordered my father and Gordon Liddy to do something about it. My father thought that, well, we know that Ellsberg's has a psychiatrist. Maybe we can find out there's some dirt, maybe some incest or some, some philanderings in his marriage or something. And so they undertook the first part of the operation was to case the place out, take photographs of the outside, gain entrance to the inside. When the maid was there, they said that they were friends of Ellsberg and just let them in, and they took photographs and stuff. And then they came back a week or two later and broke in. He didn't actually do the breaking in, but as Cubans from the old Bay of Take days did. And those guys, some of those guys were Operation 40 members, of which my father was one of the creators of Operation 40, which was the off-the-shelf, standalone, executive action, wet work arm of the CIA. They were the guys that would do the assassinating, kidnapping, torturing of foreign diplomats, presidents, secretaries of countries that didn't fall in behind the United States of America's idea of world domination.
Do you think there's an Operation 40 in existence right now?
I'm sure there has to be. Absolutely has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably more secret than ever. But there's definitely an executive action arm of the CIA that still intact. Absolutely.
We only got about 4 minutes left, and I really want to thank you again. Sam Nunberg seems to think that they have perjury charges against Stone. He thinks that Stone may have slipped up. I think he's a smart guy. I don't think he would knowingly go in and lie to Congress or lie to the FBI. But they think he thinks they got something on him. Would Stone
on Trump or Stone?
Stone. Would Stone flip, or would he go to jail?
Well, it depends what's at stake. I mean, I don't believe Roger perjured himself. I think he's way too smart for that. And most importantly is the fact that there is and never was any evidence of a relationship between him and Julian Assange in a direct level, whereas Assange had information bad for Clintons, and Roger was privy to that information, and then announced that it's just that there's never been anything like that ever, and so I would find it hard to believe that he had to perjure himself on any level. I think that Nunberg is just trying to deflect, and who better to deflect toward would be Roger Stone, the man that's the devil himself. But a good friend of mine.
Right. And what about Stone's connection to Assange? What do you make of Assange these days? Because it did come out that he's kind of in the bag for Trump, and he was offering to leak his tax returns and stuff. What do you make of Assange these days?
I think Julian Assange is a hero. I think he's what we need more of. Certainly more people like himself, and also people that are willing to take risks to. Not everything is pure and 100%. So if Assange has elements and percentages of his character or his doing that may seem contradictory from his general purpose, I think that's quite human. I mean, I'm not perfect and pure, so I mean, I may seem this, and then I have a little bit of that bad in me. So if Julian's done some things, I think that's just because, look at him. He's, he organized this whole WikiLeaks thing, which, who was that soldier that's still in prison probably for the rest of his life that released through WikiLeaks like 10 billion pages of classified.
Manning, he's out.
State Department.
Manning.
Who?
Chelsea Manning, right?
Yeah,
right. He's out. He's out. He's getting a sex change. He's out. Yeah, he's out. He's out, and he has a sex change now, and he's a whole new life.
Really, that's great. I didn't watch the news hardly at all. I'm just disgusted by the whole news media thing, against Donald Trump. I think it's shameful behavior and embarrassing.
St. John, I can't think enough. We got less than 1 minute. What do you want to leave us with?
Never stop fighting. And that's something that Richard Nixon said. As I say those words, one of the last things he said as president was, never stop fighting and don't hate, because if you hate, they win.
St. John Hunt, thank you so much, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, brother. Thank you. And now a word from our sponsors.
People are waking up. They're standing up to those pushing pesticides and GMOs as safe alternatives for a starving world. What a bunch of crap. I tell you, I'd rather eat dirt. So I drink Life Change Tea. It's an herbal drink, cleansing my body of toxic sludge and nasty chemicals, and of course, ridding the intruders that are hidden in my so-called food. And by the way, Life Change Tea is non-GMO and organic. No fillers, no yuck. Just a great defense against you-know-what. May the supplement force awaken you. Don't fall to the dark side. Sorry, I went to the movies last night. Anyway, enough said. How do you get that herbal drink and change your life? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. You will awaken. You will get stronger, and you might even lose a bit of weight. So awaken to Life Change Tea and the many one-of-a-kind supplements at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. May the supplement force be with you.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company located in India. So you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service to boot. They offer all kinds of services, business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshore research networking, customer care, press release content writing and distribution, and much, much more. They offer website development, e-commerce solutions, mobile responsive designs. Now, I've personally worked with Subhash for over 10 years. This is the man that puts out my press releases. They've done work on my websites, so I can personally recommend SubhashTechnosis.com. You can find the link to Subhash Technosis at OppermanReport.com and also AwakeRadio.us. You can have your ad played here at OppermanReport.com. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by EmailRevealer.com. You can go to EmailRevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. An online dating service investigation. It's called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites. And we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites. If you think your ex-husband or something is addicted to prescription medication or involved in an extreme online pornography addiction, we can produce a report for you that you can use in court. Adoption investigations. If you want to locate your birth parents or your birth child you gave away for adoption, we can do adoption investigations for you. Asset searches for you. Locate bank accounts, hidden assets, hidden properties, hidden income, all different kinds of services in the asset search investigation. Email tracing. If you need to locate or identify somebody from just an email address, we do an email trace investigation for you, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. I'm the president of Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can find my work at emailrevealer.com. Also like to, the show is brought to you by GetTheTea.com, LifeChangeTea.com. I've been drinking this tea for 2 weeks now. I got more energy. I'm losing weight. I crave the tea when I get up in the morning. It tastes great. It helps you with your digestion and all kinds of constipation, things like that. Losing weight, more energy, Life Change Tea. I'm feeling great. I'm loving the tea. Want to give a shout out to St. John Hunt. You can catch him at the JFK Conference, JFKConferenceDC.com. It's called a big event. He's going to be there all week in DC. There, a bunch of speakers. Or Chris Milligan, our buddy's going to be down there. So check out St. John Hunt, the son of E. Howard Hunt, Watergate burglar. Going to be at JFKConferenceDC.com. Check it out. Okay. We've got a fascinating guest today. We have John Tinker. Mr. Tinker, are you there? Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Not hear me?
try to speak up a little bit there. Maybe Danny can turn up your audio too.
I'm on the telephone here.
You're on what?
I'm on a landline.
Okay. Hey, Danny,